I won't waste your time, you've already read the title, you know what we're talking about. So first of all, what is economy picking? Well, economy picking is a picking technique, of course, which combines alternate picking, the good parts from alternate picking, and the good parts from sweep picking. So from sweep picking, we take the approach that when we traverse through strings, well, we use the same pick strokes. So for example, if we ascend, we'll use only downstroke. So we finish on a downstroke on one string, then we go with a downstroke on the next one. And alternate picking, of course, when we stay on the string, we alternate between up picking and down picking. And why should we actually use it? Well, let's say, for example, that we are playing, say, 5 notes per string, and then we need to change strings. So if we only did alternate picking, we would go down, up, down. And now if we want to start with an upstroke on the next string, well, we would have to take the pick out of here, put it between these two strings, and then go with an upstroke. So you see, even though I'm exaggerating how much we need to move the pick, and like it's gonna be faster, but still, it's a factor that limits your speed. You need to do some movement that isn't so much necessary. Like, you can do it without even having to move the pick out of these two strings and then going to the next, in between the next string. So instead, what we could do is, for example, let's say again we're playing the 5 notes per string, so we go down, up, down, and instead of taking the pick out and putting it here, well, we can just go down, up, down, and again down. So this approach where we finish on a downstroke and then again we start on a downstroke is called economy picking. So we can do this also the other way around. If we finish, for example, on an upstroke and we don't need to take the pick out and put it again in between the other strings, we can just go with an upstroke on the next. Now the way to practice it. You see, when we start something new, of course we have to go gradually from the easy stuff to the harder stuff. And if you're thinking right now, no, Theo, just give me the 30-second lick that's so economy picked, I can probably do this. Bro, if you've just heard about the technique, you probably can't do that. Even if you're good at sweep picking and you're good at alternate picking, you still need to tune into it. You still need to get used to it. So really, don't try to be the high ego guy and the high ego pleb. Just lower your ego and start from the easy stuff. So I really suggest when you learn some lick, I will show you a few different licks here, but when you learn some lick, you just start with the very small details. So for example, you first have to get used to just going with 2 downstrokes or 2 upstrokes. This is the fundamental thing that's different from alternate picking and that's similar to sweep picking. But then you also have to get used to going with downstrokes on 2 strings and then alternate picking, the transition between that. It's not like something magical happens when you change strings and you go to different frets. Yeah, you're playing different notes, maybe it feels a little bit different for the fretting hand, but the motion for the picking hand is exactly the same, maybe 99% the same, and some of the strings are a little more loose, so you can get used to that. But really, take time to just get used to the very small stuff. So let's start with the practical stuff. We have to first get used to the sweep picking motion, so the changing between strings going with the same stroke, so only with downstrokes and only with upstrokes. We use this lick for that. Next, you probably do know how to alternate pick by now, because if you're trying to learn economy picking and you don't know how to alternate pick, well, this is not the video for you. I should have said that in the beginning. But now you probably do know how to alternate pick, but the transition between the sweep picking motion and the alternate picking motion is what troubles most people. So we have to next get used to that. So try doing this both ascending and descending. And now the advanced lick from the beginning, where I covered a big fraction of the fretboard with economy picking. Well, it's just a repeating pattern, but the very important thing, start with an upstroke. And this is a side topic, but when you want to get used to playing guitar like hard and you want to be able to do hard stuff, well, start with downstroke and then start with an upstroke. Which one is harder, the downstroke or the upstroke? For most people it would be the upstroke, but if it's the downstroke, no problem. So the way to practice it is start with a downstroke once, play the whole lick, and then you start with an upstroke or whatever the harder thing is. So you start with that and play it 3 times. So you do once the easy thing, 3 times the harder thing. Once the easy, 3 times the harder thing. And this is how you get used to starting and approaching scales and licks that you encounter in songs differently, and you'll be equipped with the skills to just conquer everything that you learn. You can get the tabs for this video and many others by signing up for my Discord server, but there's no pressure if you don't want to. Just look at my fingers, look what I'm doing, look at my picking hand, and you'll be good to go. Don't forget to practice both ascending and descending. So now it's your turn to implement these.